My name's Jake Miller. I'm one of the brewers of Heirloom Rustic Ales, and I'm also one of the owners. Today, we were talking about this beer that we're brewing, kind of a special beer that we do once a year when the dandelions start popping out in spring. But we pick, and so do a ton of people that live in Tulsa, pick with us and for us all these dandelion flowers. And every year we try to get around 25 pounds of dandelion flowers for this beer. I think it's a super fun beer because it's rooted in a lot of European practice, old European practice. Before there was a lot of hops, they would add flowers, herbs, spices, all kinds of things to these beers to either get flavor or to combat bacteria growth. And so it's fun to kind of participate in something that's got a historical narrative like that. But for me personally, it's a really selfish profile. I love floral profiles in beer. And so this gives us an opportunity to take these beers where we already use floral hops at high doses to just add the most floral component ever, flowers, to enhance all of that and really drive that profile forward. And so today we added 20 pounds of whole leaf noble hops from Germany that smell, like lilac, basically. And then another 20 pounds of dandelion flower on top of that. And we put it in this really simple base beer. It's only about 3% alcohol. And we use a really neutral yeast on it too, our lager yeast. And the whole idea is to just get everything out of the way and just make really concentrated floral beer. We've been picking flowers for about 5 days now, and we throw them in the freezer or the fridge to just kind of keep them to where they're still good for a few days. And then we use lager yeast, so it takes a little longer. But this beer will be ready in probably about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And the carbonation, I actually do natural carbonation on it too. So it goes through a secondary fermentation in the actual can to create a higher level of carbonation, which is another kind of selfish touch. I really like high carbonation in these beers. And I really like when lager and saison kind of come together and marry. And one of the ways that we've been doing that is putting things like herbs and spices and flowers into lager beer and then carbonating it to well beyond the normal rate. And it kind of treads into the Belgian French style with like a cleaner yeast profile, which I love. The first American version of this that I saw was Hill Farmstead in Vermont. And it was them kind of showing this small amount of dandelions that they had picked to try in a beer. And then the next time they showed it, it was like this communal event where everybody shows up to the Hill Farmstead grounds and they just walk it and pick dandelions, and they just have garbage bag after garbage bag full of them. I was like, that's a really cool way to get community buy-in into a beer and the process. And everybody's so excited to show up and drink that because you had a hand in it. And I thought that was cool. And then being able to draw from all these different traditions that use flowers and there's something about beers in spring that I think are incredibly special. It's something that really ushers in the change of season, and what better way to do that than with one of the dominating flowers that lets you know that winter relief is here. Yeah, so the beer's called Plague Doctor, and this one is definitely one of those beers that we let people know is coming out, and what day to get here for it. We only brew one batch of this, so once it's gone, it is forever gone. So, and this year we're canning it, so a significant amount of the volume will go into cans. So I suspect that this year this beer will go faster than it ever has because there won't be as much draft. So I've said in more than a few places that for me, beer is something that I don't want people to study. I want it to be something that disappears. I want you to meet with your friends, order it, and before you know it, you're trying to drink out of an empty glass because it's just gone. And this beer does that when we do it right, and I get really excited about it every time.